Welcome to the shit show.
Yes, it is the All Elite Wrap-Up for September 26th, 2024, the year of Mahomes. Tom, how are you? I see you're wearing a Royals shirt. Looks like the Royals are going to go to the postseason. Looks like they turned around that late season skid they were having. I'm so excited for that because, as you know, Tom, I've been following them day in and day out. Big fan of the baseball.
Other than
the Royals. Other than
Bobby Witt Jr., name of Royals player.
Other than Bobby White, I think there's that Vinny Pascatarantino guy. There's look at Tom's face. Look at him.
That is the closest I ever came to.
Tom's not angry.
No, that's the closest I ever came to. Like, I'm just gonna leave the call. How about that? Fuck this.
I was like, Tom's not angry. He's disappointed now. He's disappointed. No, that's fun. So I'm sure you're excited for that. I'm sure the Royals and of course, I'll tune in. I'll check in. I have not followed baseball, but I've lived through you telling me that they're good this year. They got a chance, and here they are. And so we're excited about that.
Everyone's got a chance this year. There will not be a 100-win team. 100-win team this season. First time in over a decade that'll happen. Everyone is good and everyone sucks. You could say the strong point of every single team, and you could also easily point out the weakest point of that same team. So it's wide open. We got a lot of baseball to play. It's my favorite time of the year because playoff baseball is the best, in my opinion, because of the ebbs and flows and the ins and the outs, and you can't rely on him because his fucking arm has been thrown off from the previous game. I'm like, well, what the fuck do we do here? You better have depth. God damn it, right? So it's so much fun. I love playoff baseball. It's the best.
Excited. All right. Well, what's new in Tom's life other than that? We were going to talk about AEW Dynamite tonight. We had Grand Slam. It was amazing. I think you'll agree. We had a lot of fun stuff there to talk about. We've got some folks in the chat. I know the Wrestling with Neurodivergence podcast is in the chat already. I'm sure they're ready to talk about some AEW Dynamite and stuff like that. But I mean, we like to check in with each other, right? This is a therapy session more than anything else for us, right? This is our
Yeah, nothing's new. I mean, the Royals, living and dying with the Royals. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, because here's the thing. The Chiefs are just like almost like the Cowboys, but in reverse. No one gives a shit about the regular season. Just get to the playoffs and then we'll judge you then. We can go undefeated, losing the first playoff game, and everyone's going to say we're a fucking failure. Same with the
Cowboys. It's their year until the playoffs, and then
exactly. So that's why like playoff games, or regular season games kind of don't matter to me. Like, I obviously want them to win, but if they don't, I'm not like, woohoo. It's just like, whatever. It's more fun to root for the underdog Royals because literally it is the stars and scrubs lineup. We have 4 all-stars and then 4 guys who are not professional baseball players. Like, they suck. And like, that's your team. And so it's so much fun to like follow that going up and down. But yeah, the Chiefs are fun. Dynamite was great. I'm looking forward to Wrestle Dream in Seattle. That took a little bit of a left turn on me. And here's a teaser: mission critical problem that AEW has on their hands. I will tell you in a moment. But before I do, Tim, what's new with you?
Well, I'm excited about Wrestle Dream as well because that means we're going to get a week where we get to see you wearing your favorite shirt.
The next
week we get to see you wearing your favorite shirt again.
No, it's so crazy. And then the
and
last
we get to
time,
see like just the ache.
I'll be
the pain.
I'll be in that shirt. I'll be in that shirt, very similar to how the Oakland A's played their last game in Oakland. Like, yeah, it happened, and then it'll never happen again.
And then it'll be done, and we'll never think about it. Yeah, okay.
All right, perfect.
That'll be fun. Wrestle Dream is a fun one. It is another Saturday night paper. I think the rest of the ones for the rest of this year are Saturday night.
And you know why? I remembered this after they announced it was all going to be on Saturday. Tony Khan doesn't want to compete with the NFL football schedule.
That's because, well, yeah, and he's oh, so all NFL season. So probably March, come roll around back or mid-February, then we'll be back on the Sundays. All right, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I guess it makes sense. And he's a busy guy on NFL Sunday typically. I'm sure he's got some things to do. So we've got some things to do, and it is to talk about Grand Slam. Nothing new is in my life, by the way. You know, living, working.
How's K-State?
Yeah, fuck that. That was really bad. That sucked to watch. Things were going great, and then I was like, you know what I mean? And just a blink of a second, I was like, Tom, are you like, this is insane. I don't know what I'm watching here. It is bizarre. You got to give me that. That was a bizarre 5 minutes of football where it was like, if everything could go wrong for a team, it happened right then in like a span of 5 minutes for that.
Well, and the girl that was throwing the football for you guys, she just couldn't figure out where to go, and so that didn't help her out either. Yeah, luscious locks that she's got there. Oh, and you could just get lost in her eyes. Very soft complexion. Yeah. Very pretty.
Avery Johnson is a beautiful fella. He's a very beautiful fella. And he has clearly some to learn about passing. He was the fastest guy on the field all through high school. It showed. And now he's got to throw it, and it ain't going so hot. So, we'll give him some time. We'll see how that goes. But other than that, you know, at least the Chiefs got me through, and AEW Dynamite, it was Grand Slam, and I thought, man, they love to do these big events, but do they deliver? Sometimes yes, sometimes no, and this one delivered.
Yes, but again, teaser, stay tuned, stay locked in, stay on the YouTube. I have a mission critical problem in AEW.
Mission critical problem.
It is.
Mission critical problem. I have some mission critical problems also before we get started then, Tom. I got some mission critical problems that you, listening to the sound of my voice, watching my face right now, have not gone and subscribed at AllEliteWrapUp.com. It's free. We don't share any of that information. Just like it's just what are you proud of my segue there? Are you?
Can you hear my dogs?
Oh no! Are they going crazy?
They are going nuts. Sorry,
right.
They usually are not that loud.
Yeah. Subscribe to us at AllEliteWrapUp.com. That way you'll know when we're going live, what days. You can also have access to all the past episodes, all that kind of jazz. You can find all the links you need, including our threads, where you can find Tom threading throughout the shows. That's all_elite_wrap-up. YouTube, if you're not watching us live, we do this every week on Thursday, and then that's where you can get the chat like the Wrestling with Neurodivergence pod is now, and some other folks hopefully will be throughout the night. And you can email us, aewrapup@gmail.com. Type it out, phone call it, video it, send it to us, and we'll play it or talk about it here on the show. And also, nobody was the beer sponsor of the week again. Love nobody.
It happens.
Nobody's the best.
Hey,
nobody is the best.
And you know what? Everyone fails sometimes. Babe Ruth struck out. It happens in life. But what also happens in life...
I'll say this. It gives you all the opportunity to impress us next week.
Exactly. But what did happen is AEW Grand Slam, AEW Dynamite, however you want to call it. And it kicked off with, last night, Nigel McGuinness walking down to the ring. And he comes out and then he goes... Well, looks like Bryan Danielson's not here because Bryan Danielson music hit. It didn't happen. Then he says to the ref, hey, count to 10, declare me the winner. He's a coward. And then the final countdown happens, which I've never understood this part. So was Bryan just like, hey, play the regular music, see if it pisses him off. If it does, then play final countdown and then I'll kick his ass. Because what if Nigel's like, whew, man, good thing you didn't show up. I was really scared. And then Danielson's like, well, but like what I'm saying is like, then is Danielson just in his gear? I'm like, well, he's scared of me. I guess I won't fight him now. Like that seems mean.
Yeah,
like
true, yeah.
It's just, anyhow. But final countdown plays and everyone gets excited for final countdown because the song sucks, but it's fun in a pro wrestling entrance. It does. It's a shitty song. But it's always fun.
Yeah, that. Yeah. I'm not trying to cruise. Listen to that, right? We're not hotboxing the ride, rolling around the back roads. Listen to that. But in the arena, if we're gearing up for a big thing. That's fun.
And when it's tied to like Bryan Danielson. No, U2 really sucks. It's tied to Bryan Danielson.
In the arena, though, that's where they play well, where it plays well.
Right. Well, yeah, but it's those certain, knuckle draggers who like them. We like this song because of Bryan Danielson.
Yes.
So here it comes. Bryan Danielson walks out, and we get right to the technical wrestling. It's wrist lock. I fall down, then I kick out, then I hit.
I think there was a nipple pole in there.
Got your nose. It was all the
he
fun
did
stuff.
the nose thing with the eye poke.
Got all the fun stuff. And then we get to the violence. Then we get outside the ring. Then we're getting to the fun stuff. We try to recreate the Ring of Honor where Nigel hits his fucking head 4 times as if. Okay, side note, because this is going to be one of my criticisms of the night, and I'll just say it here because it started here and it was throughout the night. You can't have these big, giant moves. Now, obviously, the bring him into the ring post was not the actual move. The actual move was a homage to him, Nigel, getting hit in the head, right? Nigel just got hit in the shoulder in this one, right? But what I'm saying is that's an iconic spot. It didn't end the match. We're going to get into a tag match that had TK drivers on the outside and all that stuff. We had finishers and it didn't end the match. So I'm just saying, are they fucking that cool if we're just going to kick out? That's what I'll say. But we'll get to there when we get to there. So here we go. Then we're getting all the fun, hard hitting action. And we get down to it where we get Nigel gets the label lock on Nigel McGuinness. And here's what helped me out here, because maybe I saw this and I shouldn't have, or maybe it was part of the story. It looks as if Nigel says, thank you, and then taps out.
It does. Yeah, it does. And I think JR even mentioned it.
So is that part of the story? Yeah. Or is that just
I think it is.
Shouldn't have got that.
They're going to address it somehow, I would think, right? Or just maybe leave that as the story. But I assume Nigel McGuinness is still going to be doing commentary, so we might hear about it. I do think the spot, it was a little, hey, look, it's pro wrestling. We're not the greatest actors, right? As far as how he hit it and how where he nailed it, I was like, man, okay, I get it, right? The story they told of him saying thank you to being checked out was cool. But I was like, man, I wish I would have read this and didn't see it, if I can be honest. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just didn't play well to me. I think that was a little miss for me. I think that it was a great attempt. In theory, great idea. I don't think they pulled it off well. But
so what did you think of the overall match? Did you enjoy the match, though?
Yeah. Overall match, enjoyed it. Again, a little more our style, right? There's some of that technical wrestling. These guys venture on the little bit of that, what we would have called, I think, the ROH style back there, where you guys calm down. This isn't real, right? We a little less on the oh, and then I got his arm twisted back here. It's all right, we got some, you know what I mean? Let's move this along, right? A little bit of that early on, like you said, but then when we got into the actual story of these guys are ready to no, I'm ending you, right? Yeah. When it got a little more personal, then it got really good, and then the ending the way it does, I think is good. And maybe I'm assuming this is the last time Nigel McGuinness gets in a ring that isn't a, thing like a casino battle royal or something. I think so. I don't get the feeling that he's back all day, every day, right? I think maybe he's soft retired, if you will.
Do you think, because I was thinking not that he would be next week saying we're going to have him competing for the international championship, nothing like that. But I was thinking hypothetical, big asshole heel X, whoever that person is, gets to the commentary booth, starts picking on Tony Schiavone. Nigel McGuinness stands up and is like, what the fuck is up with this? Kind of like where, if you remember Jerry the King Lawler, kind of towards the middle to later half of the Attitude Era, was wrestling on behalf of Jim Ross, Yeah. I thought that's where he might be.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think we might see him like the Christopher Daniels type of often used. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Occasional spot here or there. Wrestling with Neurodivergence Pod said the tech guys glitched it out. Did you have a lot of tech problems here also, or was I experiencing that on my side just from my recording of it? Did you get a lot of cut out audio, a lot of kind of glitched sound, etc., or was that just me?
Sound I didn't have on because, complete transparency, I was busy doing something else. So I was multitasking. I had a personal matter to attend to. I was watching it on my phone and I was live threading all at the same time. And the personal matter was out actually having me drive. So I had a lot of shit going on. But it was important for me to
I was
do.
going to say, I was
It had to be
hoping it
done
wasn't like a
that
funeral. Like, listen, I had to go to this funeral,
No,
but
no.
the people were waiting for these threads.
No, it had to be done. But so it was time sensitive, so I had to do it anyhow. So I didn't catch any of the technical issues there.
Right.
Now, from me kind of glancing up and down, never saw anything where like a Taco Bell commercial appeared, right? Nothing like that.
Yeah, there was none of that. I just felt like I had some glitchy audio throughout the night, but I don't know if that was a result of like I had bad internet or something or whatever. So if anybody in the chat had experienced those issues, let us know. But if not, anyway, not a major point to what we're talking about here, of course.
Yeah. So I thought the match overall was good. I thought it was a good bookend to hopefully the end of Danielson McGuinness. I don't think we need to continue this on. Maybe if somehow down the road they do a tag match together, cool. But I don't think we need another best of 5 out of, these two guys competing against each other. Now, after the match, little wonky here. So Christian comes out from the tunnel, and I've never known, and again, it's AEW, it's not WWE, so who the fuck is me to say anything, that the guy has to sign it before. Why wouldn't you have already had it signed the entire time? So
yeah, well, I think maybe I wouldn't have done the signing thing. Now, it is of Christian to do a ceremonial, I'm going to do something before I fuck you up. So that's not out of character, but I would have just had it more been like, I'm holding the thing. And then like maybe I take the contract out and I've got it outside the portfolio or whatever. And then Kip Sabian steals one of those, maybe something like that. But again, I mean, maybe that's small potatoes.
He has the pin. He's about to sign it. Kip Sabian then sneaks behind him, steals the pin, which then kind of pisses off Christian. I did like that where he looks at Danielson. He's like, no, this motherfucker is going to get it first. And so he runs after Kip Sabian. And then what? So he runs after Sabian. Kip Sabian just keeps running. Christian then sees Claudio and Pac. Yeah. I guess just, what are they doing back there? Just a circle jerk?
Silently brooding.
Yeah.
That's what you do when you're bad guys. You silently brood behind the curtain, Tom.
It never led to anything.
May or may not be touching each other, but that's between you two.
Well, I don't care if they were or not. It never led it. They weren't then coming out to the ring. Like if the next thing that we saw after the commercial break was them walking out. Cool.
Well, my thought is maybe they were lurking, keeping an eye on Danielson. Maybe they needed to jump in if need be, right? Maybe they were going to prevent Christian from doing this thing, right?
That's a good thought. I never considered that. Yeah, I just thought it was very odd because I would have placed him. Yeah, I would have placed them outside of that entrance space. You could have had them in the back, and Kip Sabian runs past, and then you got Claudio and Pac.
I like the turning in, and suddenly we get them, and he's just like, shit. Because we were kind of like, oh, yeah. I mean, that's what I would do if I turned around and saw those guys standing there. Just all jacked out on every, testosterone you can find. One of them's wet. It's inexplicably wet.
Why wouldn't you be? I would always be wet if I looked like them. I would just be like, what the? You think I'm going to fucking dry off anytime? You tell me that you don't want me fucking dry.
Shout out the Wrestling with Neurodivergence pod. I think it was on their show where I heard this. Claudio is an athletic freak. He is awesome. It's hard for me to buy into this mean gimmick out of him because I think this was their words. He emits wholesome energy, right? Like he's just such a great dude.
Yeah, he definitely needs the actions because he can't facially present.
Yeah,
like Pac can.
He needs to hurt somebody, right?
Right. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, it should have been him breaking somebody's hand. Like Moxley should have gave the order and he broke Private Party One's hand, right? Private Party number one.
Because Claudio looks like the owner of the best CrossFit gym in town. Like he doesn't look like someone who's gonna fucking
the really supportive one, right? Where he's not like yelling at you, but he's like, you can do this, man. No, tomorrow you're going to get 10 more burpees. 10 more tomorrow.
He's the CrossFit gym. When you pull into the parking lot, you see a pride flag, not like we stand for the blue bullshit like the other ones, right? Like it's the real good one,
I stand for the flag and kneel for the cross. Be like, sure, pal. I'm sure you don't kneel for other things too.
Why? Yeah, why?
Like, whatever.
Why do I need to know that?
It's fine. Like we don't need to know that about you.
Yeah. So anyhow, we got that happening, and then we go to a commercial break. We
I
come
would go to
back.
Claudio's gym. Now I want to
Yeah,
go to this
yeah.
now.
I bet you could find it.
Inclusive,
But we come
supportive,
back. Don't you think? Right? Don't you
workouts.
think he's? Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet you he is that
Oh,
way.
of course. Of
Yeah.
course.
So we come back
Yeah,
from
no,
break.
I don't say. Hold on. If tomorrow we see Claudio at a Trump rally and Make America Great Again hat, I'm going to shit my pants. That's going to be odd. I would not have expected that. No.
Right, exactly. Yeah, he wears a over the line, like, Undertaker bullshit.
I'm voting for the felon. Be like, what the?
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Jesus Christ.
Anyhow, we come back from the break and we got an FTW championship match, and it's Hook versus Roderick Strong with the Undisputed Kingdom. Are we still calling them that? I don't know.
I guess we are. Did they call them that, or
and-
did they just call them Bennett and Taven? I didn't catch.
I don't
you
know.
weren't
It is,
listening.
but yeah, I wasn't listening.
Yeah.
I'll tell you when I got back to in front of my television. We haven't
Sure.
got there yet though. But Roderick Strong loses, right? It was kind of nothing crazy, right? Kind of your standard Hook match. So afterwards, Hook gets the victory. And what did you think about this? Roderick Strong says, "Hey, shake my hand." Okay. So he shakes his hand. Don't know what that was about. And then Tony Schiavone interviews Hook, and Hook says, "Hey, this title was created." This is where I was back in front of my television. Was created 3 miles down the road by my dad. I'm paraphrasing here. By my dad. All good things must come to an end. I think to move on to bigger and better things. We're going to retire this belt. I want to give it back to my dad. Taz, who legitimately looked touched. Like, he's not that good of an actor. And he was like
teary-eyed
legitimately.
Taz.
Yeah, that was legit, like a real moment. They hug, they embrace, and the FTW championship is no more. So, Tim, let's get your feedback on 2 different items here. 1, Roderick Strong and the handshake. And then 2, Hook retiring the FTW championship.
So Roddy Strong and the handshake, I don't know if there's anything specific to this storytelling, but I will say it's not out of character for an alpha male bad guy, right, to lose a match and be like, all right, shake my hand, right, as a way to like save it, like, all right, kid, you got one, you know what I mean, like, and they come from that ROH, like, we do this gentleman fight thing around here, right? So I don't, it's not out of character, right? I don't think it's something like specific. I do like that we got rid of the title, just because, what is it?
I love it.
Right?
Yeah, I love that we got less titles in AEW. That is A+. If anything from this show failed, at least we got the A+ moment of a title not continuing in AEW anymore.
So we need to do something dramatic, and I'm going to run T-Mac story time by you, right? Because, and it's not even necessarily T-Mac story time by you, but it's maybe I need Tom with the pencil here, right?
I already got an idea.
So Hook, after last night's promo, fine. He didn't fumble words, right?
I got it.
Right. I know you do. I know. But I got to set up here. Other people
don't
know what I'm about to say.
All right. Yeah. All right.
Well, maybe some of the Wrestling with Neurodivergence pod do. They probably
Come on. All right. Come on. I want to say it.
So, I mean, promo fine, right? But you would agree, he's not, like, the crowd's not like, all right, I'm going to run through a wall for this guy, right? So how do we, because our earlier ideas involved Hook never saying a single word. But if I give you the caveat of Hook has to talk, what do we do here? How do we change up his personality, his type, to utilize some promo ability where it doesn't sound so forced and just not real?
I would have him shut up. So that would be the first thing. I know what you said. I wouldn't have him talk. This was good. It was fine. Let's not do it again. Here's where we're going with Hook. This is what I would do. Immediately when he retired the belt and he just walked off, like he didn't stay with his dad and Taz didn't walk off with him. That's a key point into what I think might happen. This is what I would do. And this is what I think might happen. If you recall, a certain tag team a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was taken out. And they were taken out, and right before they got one of their hands broken, the individual said, "Look at you. You're in the same spot you were when you started here." Well, who could that also go for? Maybe Hook? So Hook joining John Moxley, Pac, and Claudio Castagnoli
Yeah.
would fucking
So that's great.
rule.
And that would fit he doesn't say anything, right? Kind of what you're saying. Like it fits well in that storyline. Because he could fit in a pecking order where he takes orders.
Well, and it also fits in the pecking order because one thing that the NWO, before they ballooned up and fucking jumped the shark, one thing that they did really well early on is they had almost everyone at a spot in the card, right? So obviously you had Hogan, and then you had Hall and Nash for the tag team. You had the Giant, kind of your mid card, taking out Lex Luger, right? And then you had six that would go with all the cruiserweights and go with Chris Jericho and Rey Mysterio and all that. That's where Hook could fit in, right? He goes up against your Willer Yuta, your whoever it is. And there you go. Now we've got we could do a whole fucking pay-per-view of Moxley versus AEW with there you go, guys.
So now let's say we get past that. And now that's all done. We move past that storyline. It's one of the all-time greats, right? Moxley tries to take over and he gets burned alive or whatever, right? And we save the day. And it's MJF, right? And we all love him. Now, did I just call it? Did I just nail it? Maybe. It's probably Eddie Kingston. Eddie motherfucking Kingston. No. So now we got to move Hook on and we want to make him cool again. But what do we like? Is it, I don't want to say stoner-esque or what, like, what is his personality that we could draw out that'll be a little more endearing to folks than just this walk around with the almost a McMahon walk? Because, I mean, like, he is cool and he is badass. So we can keep that. But, like, when he's like, I'm getting my tough guy New York voice, like, it just doesn't hit, right? I lose all connection.
I agree. Yeah, and so obviously it would depend on where he kind of finds his voice within the group.
Yeah.
I would, though, have him in the same vein of a John Moxley with the flips and shits guys. Hook cannot do the flips and shits thing, right? At least we've never seen it. John Moxley,
but if I catch you.
Right. And John Moxley does not do the flips and shit things, but he can do a match with Eddie Kingston against the Young Bucks, or he could take on Kenny Omega. He's that guy for those people. So when it is Private Party or it is like, I'm not saying you're not going to push him to the moon. One, he's too young.
Yeah.
Two, he doesn't have the move set to where you're like, holy shit, did you see X move? And three, he can't.
He still doesn't have a thing. He doesn't have like a line. He doesn't have a, you know what I mean? He doesn't have a swagger that we're all like we're trying to mimic or anything. We all recognize he's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
so
it just,
I would have him be the grit, determination, in the gutter type of wrestler, not to the extreme of a Darby Allin, but in that same vein where you're like, hey, this motherfucker might drop someone on their head and not care that he did it. You know what I mean?
I would love it if he kind of took that as like I'm taking out the flips and shits guys. It's one of those like, look, I'm not in there to flip with you. You start flipping around. Let me catch you one time.
I'm gonna throw you.
You're not flipping again for 3 months. I'm breaking your fucking leg.
Right. So now I'll use this analogy, but I do not mean for this to be who he actually turns into. But think of it similar to Chris Benoit, where Chris Benoit couldn't fucking talk, right? Chris Benoit did a diving headbutt, but let's be honest, he wasn't doing the 450 splashes or anything like that. But you all knew when Chris Benoit was in a wrestling match, he was going to probably fuck you up.
This is another tough one.
You know what I mean?
Do we know, is Chris Benoit's real name was Chris Benoit? Was that?
No idea. I don't want to know.
It's just, well, that's the thing. It's like, it's again, one of these hard, because you have to be like Chris Benoit, the TV character, the television character.
TV character. Yeah.
We want him to be like the television character.
The TV character, 100%. So yeah, that's where I think I would slot him in or let's even say a better example, Dean Malenko, right? Dean Malenko, you knew was going to fuck you up, but he ain't going to do, but he'll do a crazy spot, right? And Hook can do that, right? Hook throws Big Bill over his head. So it's not like he can't do anything, but he ain't there to get a highlight. He's just there to win money and win matches, right? So that's what I would do with them. But I think in the immediate, you have John Moxley put his arm around Hook and say, you're coming with me because you ain't doing shit with your dad and you ain't doing shit in this company. And then he's like, oh, cool. I like this.
Yeah, I would love if he almost unleashed him like a pit bull when needed, right? Like just get the hook.
Well, and that's
right? And he just
if you remember the cool thing about Hook initially was when CM Punk said send Hook, and it kind of felt like, oh shit, Hook might actually fuck up.
might
CM
come in and
Punk.
start suplexing you all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, do that again, but now with
Send
a more
Hook.
credible. And again, Taz is very
Steal
credible.
the line. Fucking take CM Punk's line, steal it, and just start using it. Be like, send Hook. Fucking
yeah. Well, of course, CM Punk never had an original line, so fucking steal it from his bitch ass. I digress. We get next into the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. The Young Bucks, or the EVPs, as I like to call them, versus Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. It's cool. There's a lot of fun stuff. There was a cool, I do like, here's one thing that I do appreciate about the flips and shits, especially in this match, is when everyone can do their one thing that leads into the other and they're all dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're all laying there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So you know what I say, in this style of match, you got to get the timing right. All of these folks typically get the timing right. Right? I'll say that. They're really good at that. I will say, and I don't remember exactly when you were threading, at which point in the show you were talking about the false finish.
Yeah, that's where it gets lost on me. It was, I believe,
was it
Kyle
this match?
Fletcher. Oh yes,
yeah.
It was 100% this match. But it was
right before the finish, when then they come in. Yeah.
It was the spike pile driver on the outside. Yep. And then it was also Matt Jackson. Not that Nick Jackson stopped the count, because that's one thing also. In a tag match, you can kind of get away with, right? Hey, we would have finished him, but Nick Jackson hit me in the head, and now,
Right,
but Matt Jackson was just
it wasn't a kick out.
Up. Right. Matt Jackson, though, straight up kicked out twice, 2 times in a row.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Yeah, I remember the spot right before the BTE trigger being the thing where it was like, oh man, what a spot, great timing, and they kicked out, and then they rolled in and did the BTE trigger. It literally felt like Hogan must pose. It literally felt like the Young Bucks were like, no, but we need to end with the BTE trigger, right? Like,
and that's
we've got
fine,
to do
but
that. It's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah, and that's great, but just then don't do the pin.
Don't do the big spot before that, right? Yeah, that's what I mean.
Well,
but that's what I mean. It felt like somebody worked out the match and they were like, all right, we'll do it, but at the end, you kick out and then we'll do the BT trigger. And they're like, all right, fine, whatever. I'm just conjecturing. I don't know. That's what it felt like.
It did feel like it. But the way this match does end is there's a lull in the action. Don Callis, who was on commentary, gives a screwdriver to Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher goes,
it was this spot here. Cool. Yeah. Uh-huh.
He goes, no, this would be cool. Let's do this. And so Kyle Fletcher gets in the ring and he's about to hit old EVP 1 in the head. And Will Ospreay says, no, we don't do that. And then the EVP said, but we do. Fucking whop in the head with the title belt, whop in the head with the other one.
So let me hit my part harder, because this is the spot I was talking about. And now I remember it better. And thanks. So Don Callis gives him the thing. Kyle Fletcher's like, all right, I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to stab this. You know it's not coming when they hold it like they're going full stab, right? So bad spot there. But right, he's like, I'm going to puncture this guy live on television. I mean, this isn't Nick fucking Gage here. So he's got that, and Will Ospreay stops him like the kid in school who reminds the teacher they forgot to assign the homework, gives it to the referee, right? Doesn't like nerd. Yeah. And so like he does that. And then because of that, in comes the belt at play. Oh, you didn't want to cheat? Well, guess who will? The Young Bucks. And even then, they missed the first time, right? So they give you the false finish of, oh, it cost you. But then, oops, throw it to the other guy. Now he hits you. It did cost you. So now that should have ended the fucking, because that was the story you were telling. He went to cheat. He stopped him to be the good cop. And he got cost the match because of it. But no, they still had him kick out, even though you did a false finish into the real finish. Then you had him kick out just for them to do the BTE trigger. That's where I was like, this is too much, guys.
Yeah.
It's too much. And that's where the flippy shit style comes at me sometimes. I'm like, it's too much. I really enjoy the flippy shit. But when you give me 4 the same fucking spot in the same match, like, you lost me.
Well, I would even make that a little bit bigger of a point. That's where, and again, I'm going to sound like get off my lawn and whatever. That's where this era of wrestling, what I'm saying is you're going more flips and shit. I'm saying the whole industry is in an indictment because everyone does it, right? Seth Rollins does the curb stomp, and then that gets a 2 count. And then Cody Rhodes does one, whatever the fuck he calls it, right? Crossroads.
Yeah,
and
finishers don't mean anything anymore.
So then, fuck that shit.
There is no finishers. There are no finishers.
Yeah, there's really. Well, not anymore. There was one that always worked, and that was the Outsider's Edge, Razor Ramon or Scott Hall's fucking powerbomb version.
But in this day and age, you can't count on any finisher in a match. Like, I don't see you do a thing, and I'm like, that's it. We're done here. You just can't. You can't do it anymore.
You should.
But you should. But you should. Yeah.
And again,
it's better storytelling if you do.
And technically, the one-winged angel has never been kicked out of, but yes, it has. Because if you forget the death match with him and John Moxley actually does kick out. But I digress. So I will say Kenny Omega does it a little bit. But what I was going to say is, I'm okay with the finisher being kicked out of in a tag match where someone stops it, right? Oh, they had you.
Yeah.
But fine. I'm okay with that. But if it's a one-on-one, and I know this was a tag match, but generally speaking, if it's a one-on-one, get the fuck out of here. I don't, nope. Can't do it.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. A little too much on that. But again, the spots were there. The timing was good with those guys. They did tell a story in there. We are still slow rolling the Don Callis family thing.
Here's my, and I'm splitting hairs here. I thoroughly enjoyed the match. It's, again, we're doing a podcast. If we just said everything is great all the time and listen this way, and we just fucking ended the podcast, that's not interesting. So I'm splitting hairs here. But this is, Don Callis has a thing, right? So he used the screwdriver to fucking hit Kenny Omega in the head when he turned on him, right? And John Moxley beat Kenny Omega. And ever since then, he's gave it to Will Ospreay. Nope, he messes up. He gives it to Kyle Fletcher by himself. Nope, he messes up. He gives it to Kyle Fletcher in a tag match. Well, no, Will Ospreay says no. He gives it to Takeshita. That's like, fucking, are you smart? Are your guys just not paying attention?
Will Ospreay did that thing like that one commercial where the basketball guy was like, "No, it was out on me, coach." I'm going to tell the ref. It was out on me. Like,
side note on
this guy's ass.
One thing that I learned, because a lot of my coworkers are Indian, from India, and cricket is their number one sport. In cricket, they have integrity. They have an integrity rule where, for example, if the outfield,
you knew it was off you or whatever it was,
and you're like, "Hey, it was," and then they check it, and you're like, "Okay, you were right." Like, if they called it out, and you're like, "You know what? It was actually in," and they check it, and you're like, "You're right," you get a point. You don't get a touchdown like in football, but you get a point. So, just saying, maybe, help out this deteriorating fucking society in America. But I digress. Don Callis, though. What the hell? We're doing this.
I don't know if there's any hope left, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But Don Callis, we're doing the same thing. You're using the same weapon. It'd be one thing if we're like, hey, the screwdriver didn't work, so let's use keys.
It's weird because I love Don Callis, and I say more Don Callis.
But he's using the same thing every time.
Do something new. Yeah, do something new.
So here's a question.
And I thought the scar was supposed to keep growing. I thought that thing was gonna like get all the way down the back of the neck at some point.
Yeah, well, we got time. He ain't dead yet.
Still could. Screwdriver. We could rip that thing back open.
Here's my question out of this. So I will throw it to you. You threw it to me about Hook. I will throw it to you. EVPs are your tag champs. They beat FTR. They beat the Acclaimed. They just beat Ospreay and Fletcher. Who are you going with now?
It's the motherfucking Outrunners.
Now, are you saying they beat them?
Oh, I mean, look, no, I wouldn't say today that Outrunners are like, let's give them the title on next Dynamite or something, right? But let's work a story and see how they handle it, right? And see how it goes and see if we got something. I'm a little worried this gets real sticky and old too if they don't show that they can like keep coming up with ways to keep it fresh, right? With the Outrunners.
Son of a bitch. I love that. You son of a bitch.
They very well might. I'm not saying it, you know what I mean? It's doomed for failure. I'm just saying I need to see what happens when they need the next catchphrase or the next, you know what I mean, twist on it, right? And we have yet to see that. But other than that, I mean, if you're not going with, the grizzled young veterans, you've done everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Unless, we saw him later on in the night, but if the broken hand unlocks some fucking thing of their personality and Private Party says, we're done with the fucking glitz and glamour, maybe that.
Or
because they've already beat him in the
nightmare comes true, and it's old Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin taking on.
Oh, well.
Is Cedric Alexander out yet? Is he out of WWE now? I don't remember who's out.
No,
I know Lashley's out.
Benjamin.
I know MVP's out.
And Shelton Benjamin. But Cedric Alexander is still there, I think.
Still over there. Okay. All right.
He's up. So I got a thought about that. So let's quickly get to it. Renee Paquette talks to the conglomeration. Rocky Romero's in it. Neat. It's the new best friends. Prince Nana then. Yeah, it's fine. Prince Nana then comes out and he says, hey, everyone's been talking about Swerve Strickland. First off, selling some coffee. How cool is that? Second, want to let you know Swerve is doing fine and he's coming back sooner rather than later, essentially. And he gets interrupted by MVP, which is kind of cool that he owns that name, because I thought we were going to have to call him most outstanding or something. Yeah, it's
interesting. Yeah.
So
I didn't know that he owned that name. Man, that is good.
So we're calling him MVP. And MVP puts over Swerve Strickland like almost no one has coming into AEW has done before. He says, you know what? You're right, Prince Nana. Swerve is the most dangerous guy. But here's the thing. He's phenomenal. I think he could be, one of the greatest champions of all time. His title reign will live forever, he said. Will be studied or something.
Yeah.
He goes,
he did say that.
But you got this motherfucker Hangman over here, burned down his house, beat his ass, stabbed him in the mouth with a syringe, which we don't even know where that syringe came from. So maybe it isn't him. Maybe it's you, Prince Nana.
Get that from Jake Roberts, did he?
Maybe. And he says, Prince Nana, how about this? When Swerve's ready to come back, why don't you give him my card and we could talk business?
The card just said MVP on it.
Yeah, just who the fuck
MVP.
He's watching. Yeah. Motherfucker watches this show.
Say his name and he appears.
Joe Hendry. That would be fun. So looks like we're gonna get, as I go with action figures, and another reason why you should be watching the YouTube stream, looks like we're gonna get Swerve Strickland saying, nah, I ride with my management. And then MVP says, well, then I guess more dangerous than you. And it's Bobby Lashley, right? Dun, 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 dun. And so what I think happens out of that, you mentioned old Shelton Benjamin. He's old. No. What you do is you have Bobby Lashley and MVP putting the old boots to Swerve Strickland, right? Hit him in the head, him in the head, him in the head. Well, who's going to come make the save? Well, you got a returning Powerhouse Hobbs, and he comes down. But you know what he does? He beats up on Swerve Strickland, and then we get a fucking tag team that looks as believable as there ever has been of Bobby Lashley and Powerhouse Hobbs. That's your fucking tag team champs, huh?
I wonder if he owns the Hurt business or if it's got to be a something else business, right? Are they the Pain business now, or are they just the business?
I've read it's the Hurt Syndicate.
Oh, geez.
Which, fun fact, kids don't know what a syndicate is.
Is that mogul entertainment versus the Hurt Syndicate? Yeah.
Again, society is kind of deteriorating. I don't know if we need to be using bigger words. So maybe try something else. But I think that's
I did say a disturbing fact about how many people read below 5th grade level. So yeah.
But look at these two guys. I mean, obviously, this action.
Hurt LLC is what Wrestling with Neurodivergence Pod said. Hurt LLC. That's too much. Syndicate rolls off the tongue better than LLC.
Well, here's the thing. Does any of these motherfuckers know what an LLC is? So I would say you make these two motherfuckers your tag champs, huh? They throw around the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
With MVP
Hurt Limited
talking
Liability Company. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would just call them black and blue. That's what they're going to do to you. And they're black guys. They're black. And they will make you black and blue. Why not?
We'll let them workshop some names. We'll see if they'll take that suggestion.
Or let's call it, because MVP I don't think actually said his name. Or maybe he did and I forget. Maybe we call them MVP. Maybe the tag team is the MVPs.
Yeah, I think he did say MVP, right? I don't recall if he fully said Montel Vontavious Porter, but I think he said MVP.
Yeah. Anyhow, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Most
MVP
valuable.
Diddy or something
there
like
you go.
that is what he said.
There you go. Just call him the most valuable. The most
valuable?
Yeah, there it is.
That's
right
not
there.
terrible. The most valuable. And then you can turn that into a rich guy gimmick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything you want. Right there. Look at that. I figured it out. You just got to give me a second. Hey, after
we just got to talk it out. Throw things against the wall, right?
See what sticks. Yeah.
What I mean?
We see after that, the TNT champ, Jack Perry, he's headed down to the old Arthur Ashe Stadium, and he has an open challenge for Saturday at Collision Grand Slam. So, Tim, we don't read, by the way, any spoilers, so we don't know if it happened, who it is. Who do you think is going to be the one that answers the challenge to face Jack Perry for the TNT Championship?
I haven't thought about that. Who's at that level right now that's like needing something to do? I don't have a good idea. I guess I didn't ponder, I saw it happen and I was like, oh yeah, all right, open challenge. But then I gave it no thought of like, who the hell's that going to be? Who do you got some ideas while I look at the roster?
Yeah, I got one. I got someone right now, their action figure in my hand. So I will show you in a second. Now I will say this. I don't have their action figure, but the person I want it to be is Ricky Starks. I think Ricky Starks answering the open challenge, all that fucking rules. Now, again, if you know what it is, don't ruin it by telling us in the chat. But I think because there was a picture a couple weeks ago where he was in the ring or outside of a ring standing and he was breaking a sweat, and he technically never lost that championship. But I could see on this day, I could see it being Edge or Adam Copeland who answers the challenge. What do you think about that? That's someone on Jack Perry's level, huh?
Yeah, I think that's good because I also don't feel like Jack Perry's losing it, right? So I started looking, I was like, oh, who could it be? And there's some good names, but yeah, that's a good one that like he shows up, but Jack Perry still finds a way to heel out and win. And then we could even get a feud out of it for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that would be perfect. And then you got the, interwoven of Christian works with the EVPs and he still hates Adam Copeland. Adam Copeland has his feelings about Christian. Now he hates Jack Perry for, stealing a victory on him. I think that's what it would be.
Man, are we going to get one last run from ENC?
Yes, but
at some point we got to get it, right? Like, I don't think we need it right now. The father thing is still going too hot. Now, bringing Uncle Adam into the patriarchy is not a terrible idea. And then they can operate as a heel tag team when needed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uncle Adam.
Yeah. I like that. I think it would be great.
Like when something's going really bad. In fact, this thing with Kip Sabian, he's going to such a problem. You won't handle this? I'm calling in Uncle Adam. And be like, but we've got to explain how they're now cool again, right? We've got to get somewhere there, though. Because
they love each other. They're brothers. Look, they fought.
Yeah, look, I knew when he really needed. This is what family does, right? I help out my brother, and when his son is acting out of line, this is what uncles do, right?
Well,
just flips that switch.
So we've got Christian with this contract. Does Uncle Adam help Christian win the AEW World Heavyweight Championship? Is that how we do it? That's how you end
Bryan Danielson.
That's how you do it. You end the fucking career. Well, hold on.
The heat on those two standing in the ring.
I got it.
65 years old with abs. Just
no. I got it. Yes, it'll get booze, but I got it. This is how it's done. I don't know who the champion will be. I'll talk about this mission critical problem I think we have in AEW, but let's just say champion loses their belt to Darby Allin. And Darby Allin gets the feel good moment. An AEW day one guy stands up on the turnbuckle, confetti going everywhere. He holds up the championship. Here comes Christian and Killswitch and Nick Wayne and Mother Wayne, and they surround the ring. And then you hear, on this day, right? Go ahead, play it.
Yeah. Oh man, I lost it. Where'd it go? On this day. There we go.
And then everyone's like, fuck yes. Here's who's someone that's going to take Killswitch out of the picture, and Nick Wayne and Mother Wayne, and Adam Copeland stands back to back with Darby Allin, and they're doing the whole thing. And then Adam Copeland just turns around, reverse DDT, boom. Christian comes in, takes the 1, 2, 3, and there you go. That's how you do it. Huh? What do you think about that?
Man, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. Yeah, them two shitting on a feel-good moment and just forevermore than just, you know what I mean, just being the evil that ended that, something cool, right, that everybody wanted and everybody liked. I like your idea a little better, that where it was like something where we like, finally Darby's the champ, instead of like, you killed Brian?
Right.
Like, I don't know, that would be like sad. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'll book this for you all. And if you like this, reach out to AEW, because I actually applied for a producer job at AEW. So if you want to tell them how great I am, thanks.
References. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
You don't want to be the beer sponsor of the week. I get it, but you should send a reference letter for Tom.
That'd be great. That would be nice. So we get to our main event.
And let me make that clear. There
you go. Perfect.
Right.
And or. So I'm going to talk about the mission critical. I won't delay it any farther, and then we'll get into the match. So we get to our main event. It's the number one contenders match. Darby Allin's AEW world title shot is on the line. Darby Allin, Jon Moxley with Marina Shafir. We all know Jon Moxley wins this match. Here is your mission critical fuckery that I think we have in AEW. So if Jon Moxley beats Bryan Danielson and ends the career of Bryan Danielson, last night Jon Moxley beat Darby Allin, right? So who is going to out-violent Bryan fucking Danielson to beat Jon Moxley? You get what I'm saying? Like, Jon Moxley's already the skewers in the head and everything else. The only person that can match that violence is Darby Allin. And so if Jon Moxley beats Bryan Danielson, he's the king of violence. Now, in a perfect world, wouldn't it fucking be cool if Nick Gage came out? But I digress. That won't happen. But you get what I'm saying? So who will it be? Because Bryan Danielson is kick your fucking head in and all of that shit. Who would be more violent than?
It's your best friend.
Well, he's not that though. No. He's beat Jon Moxley, but he beat Jon Moxley in a Continental Classic match. And to clarify for anyone who's not catching on, we're talking about Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston beat Jon Moxley in a Continental Classic match, which is hey, let's just figure out who we are, right? If you remember, Jon Moxley already made Eddie Kingston say, I quit. Already happened. 2020.
But your answer's in the chat. Your answer's in the chat from the Wrestling with Neurodivergence pod. It's Hangman.
I mean, but then how long is the reign of
I told you
Jon
this earlier.
Moxley?
It's returning to face status MJF, who bloodies himself for the AEW, who he has tatted on his calf because that's important.
Okay, so obviously
I tatted it on my body, but I mean I got to hide it with a tube sock.
Yeah. So we'll say this. We're going to do our picks next week or whenever that is for Wrestle Dream. But let's go with this fun scenario, because that was our episode. Again, the match was incredible. Jon Moxley fucking threw Darby Allin around like a old sock, and Darby Allin does that every single match. How does he survive? We never know. rinse, repeat, but it's always
Somas,
awesome.
probably.
I mean, cool. I would.
Yeah.
Drugs are awesome. I don't know.
Drugs
I'm just going to say drugs are awesome. It's the abuse of them. If you fucking just
You're
don't
right.
abuse things.
Everything in moderation. Yeah.
Everything in moderation. Yeah.
Except this show. Abuse this show.
Abuse the shit out of this show. Just
Yeah.
keep interacting. Even if you want to tell us abusive comments, just keep interacting. That's what we don't care. Just keep coming.
Yeah.
I got thick skin.
Keep it coming.
Yeah. All right. So let's go with this theory. Let's say in this world that I'm about to create, Jon Moxley does end the career of Bryan Danielson at WrestleDream. Who do you think it is that ends Jon Moxley's title reign?
Like Reign of Terror.
Yeah, like the next champion.
I get the feeling, because the way they're leaning, that this is something about AEW and needing to control it and blah, blah, blah. So I feel like you've got to get one of those AEW originals. Ooh, it's the scapegoat. It's Jack Perry. It's the scapegoat, Jack Perry. He keeps descending into more madness, and he keeps getting crazier and crazier, and he's just the right kind of crazy to take out the evil, maniacal craziness that is Jon Moxley. And we've seen him take the punishment.
Yeah,
right?
We have. I do like that idea.
And he's talking in tongues now, and he's
all the stuff.
It's Jack Perry.
I wouldn't hate that.
Book it.
I wouldn't hate that.
He's the scapegoat.
Yes. I think it does have to be an AEW original if that did happen, where Moxley wins and he does this.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't your company anymore. If you want to go long term and you throw up other day one guys that fall at the feet of Jon Moxley, while in the background Hangman does the, hey, I'm fucking wild, but what am I doing? And then I'm doing this all for you, AEW. And then he's the one that takes up the banner of AEW, and then he beats Jon Moxley. Awesome. That's for a longer title reign. I would go with that if we're saying 6 months or whatever for Jon Moxley's title reign, right? I'll just give away my pick. I don't think it's Jon Moxley that wins at WrestleDream. I think it is Bryan Danielson that wins at WrestleDream. And I think the person that beats Bryan Danielson is Darby Allin. And then you have a vulnerable champion and Jon Moxley saying, remember what I did at Grand Slam? And you think you're going to be the one that fends us off? And then you've got this dynamic of, well, can the champ even beat the challenger?
So Danielson fights him off. Maybe Darby even helps to keep the whatever we're calling Blackpool Combat Club away. Mm-hmm. And then Danielson the next night's like, hey, great job. Now you get your shot, right? Like, now you get your shot. Like, you got blah. Yeah. Now let's do it at the next event. And that's where Darby beats him. Yeah.
Right. And again, I would think it'd be more fun if Christian is like, I'm the fucking champion. You guys fight amongst each other. I don't give a fuck about any of this. I do think that would be the best fun thing out of it. But I think, because here's the thing that I think of all of this Grand Slam lead up and now fallout. The biggest chump is Darby Allin. You basically got called out by Jon Moxley, baited into giving up your title shot, lost your title shot, and then what? You're supposed to then go up against Okada? Like, you look like a fucking...
Like nothing happened. Yeah.
Yeah, like, so you have to get something. And I think
a random match to cash down Darby.
Right. So I think Darby has to get this back somehow. And so I think the revenge of Darby beating Moxley for something that now means something to Moxley is the payoff. Look at that.
So many ways, man. I love what we've got going. We don't know what's happening with Mox in a good way, right? We don't know what's going on here, right? We don't know what the purpose is. We don't know what's driving this. I hope they're trolling everybody by finding every chance they can to put a picture of Shane McMahon with one of these people, and I hope we never see that guy.
No. Yeah. I think
I just hope all of that's just a troll job.
I think the Shane McMahon thing, honestly, this is my.
I think they're like, hey, play nice when we do a few pictures, and you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well,
make a fun tweet or something, and we'll
I think the real payoff to this is going to be next year's All In, the Wembley show in Texas, right? You go, look at this. We sold 70,000 tickets, and look at all the people that's at this show. And you show Dak Prescott. I'm just making up people here, right? You show Dak Prescott and CJ Stroud and Luka Doncic, and then you just show Shane McMahon, and then you just go, and Shane McMahon, and then what the fuck was that? And you just keep it moving. That would be the thing that would be like, what the fuck? Yeah.
What the fuck? So here's a thing, because I was saying, in addition to that storyline, you've got the Christian Cage thing. So what if Darby turns and says, no, I need that title shot now. Like, no, you've got it. And maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe Kip Sabian's working with him, right? Maybe they're trying to get that title shot.
Yeah.
Of course, it'd be weird that you started it ahead of time thinking maybe you wouldn't win, but like maybe he's not involved, right? Maybe he's not. But, you know, again, what does Christian Cage do here? We've got a heel guy with a guaranteed title shot ready to go, who is an opportunist, right? Some would say he's even friends with the ultimate opportunist.
Mm-hmm. This guy right here.
No, not that one. This one. The wrong thing. Yeah. What? Yeah, and then he shows up. That would be great. Now that is the guy that could hit Mox's.
And his name is John C.
I might have to turn off the TV, though. I might have to. I don't know.
I think so. Here's one thing that has been vague, and I think it's vague on purpose, because as much as the first 3 years of AEW, in my opinion, was mapped out to a T, except for given an injury, right? Everything was right there. I think that now everything is kind of, well, okay, let's do this for a big, big bump in ticket sales. It's John Moxley now for Darby Allin, right? So with that being said, I think still in my dumb brain, I think Christian is the next chapter in whatever the end of Moxley's story is. I'm not saying that like Moxley loses it to Christian, but once we do Team AEW versus Team Moxley and they both fall to the ground, it's Christian that comes out of it.
I would, what you said, Moxley loses because Darby helps. Danielson's like, yay, he gives Darby the thing, right? Darby beats Mox. The whole time Mox is like, I got to get another fucking title shot. Christian, right? Christian got the fucking title shot. And now Christian and this group, they got to battle it out, and Mox fucking murders him to steal that fucking title shot. And now he's after Darby because fucking Darby has it.
Well, I don't think you should do that for the first one, because then who would want it next, right? Well, fuck, I don't want that title shot because that means Moxley might come after me. Then fuck this, right? Like, I'm not in that match.
Well, I mean, hey, until Moxley gets his title, like,
right, but you know what I'm saying? So I think Christian has to cash in or be epically massive failure.
Fail it.
Right? Yeah.
I think he's going to fail it. I think he's going to fail, or Luchasaurus is going to fuck it up, or is, and then be like,
Yeah, that could be right. If he loses, I'm a dinosaur. Motherfucker. God damn it. I will fucking.
A dinosaur.
I will cut the hair of Trevor Lawrence if those motherfuckers do I'm a dinosaur. I will be so fucking pissed. Oh my God, that would be so
It's our storyline. And it's money. And I want them to do it, but I also want them to pay us when they do it.
Yes. I just give me front row tickets for a year and I'm good. You know what I mean? Like,
let me be big green shirt guy. And I'll just,
airfare, tickets, hotel. I'll be okay.
I can hang out at catering. I'll be all right.
Yeah. Just let me hang out. Right. Or just hire me for this producer job. I digress. But I think what you should do is have him. Yeah. So it's either I'm a dinosaur or, and I know it's very WWE lore, but to give it credibility, have him become the champ. And that's where, like you said, he doesn't really fit in the John Moxley, the Danielson, the Darby, the fight for control, the EVPs, which, side note, as we kind of recap the end of this Grand Slam episode, there's a few different times that Excalibur mentioned John Moxley, and the EVPs even mentioned. A lot of people are talking about taking over this company.
I slightly disagree with you now, where you said, well, now it just feels like, they're like, oh, let's do this match, and then next month we'll do this match. I think they have gotten back to, they're planning some of these things out. There's a definitive purpose that they're going to slowly tell us over with this Moxley group, and it's intertwining with things like you're saying, right? So yes, how did the EVPs play into this?
Because they were mentioning them a lot
already. Are they, you know what I mean? Like, it's very interesting because they are, I mean, they mentioned it. They're the damn show, right? Like, they said it, I think on this episode, they bragged on themselves, right? Where they were like, it's us. Like, the show is us. Like, we are, like, you know?
And here's where, again, it gets fun to talk about wrestling, because details could matter where you never would have thought, or you could find something and it's completely wrong. But the detail that I keep going back to, after John Moxley says to Tony Schiavone, this is no longer your company, he walks right by the EVPs, even says that Jack Perry's a cute kid or whatever he said there, a good guy.
They never asked the question. They never been like, what'd you mean by that?
Yeah. What the fuck? You think you're taking this company from us? They just were like, hey, they didn't even look upset. But
they should have been like, did you think Tony Schiavone is the Tony that owns the company? Like, they didn't even make a snide joke. They didn't do nothing.
You're right. Now I'm getting a little too crazy, but follow me here. Could this be phase 2 going back to Jack Perry punching Tony Khan in the gut, right? So they try on their own to take over this fucking company. They lose blood and guts to Swerve Strickland and all them. So they say, you know who we could really get to fucking take over this company for us? John Moxley and his guys, you know?
I forgot about the punch in the gut with the microphone. That's one of AEW's best moments.
Yeah.
And then he fell over like he had to take a bad shit. And from now on, every time Tony Khan ever gets hit, it better be that way now. It better be microphone to the stomach.
Yeah.
It has to be. I forgot about that moment, Tom. Thanks for that.
By the way,
I don't remember that.
A little NFL talk real quick. So NFL Films did 24 hours with Tony Khan. And he's in the neck brace and all that stuff.
I didn't watch that yet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. The Jacksonville Jags are 0-3. For the dumb brain football fans that think because Tony Khan was in a neck brace on draft day, which he doesn't even make the fucking picks, is the reason your team is 0-3, you don't deserve to be a football fan because you are stupid. So, like, I've seen that a few times. Oh my God, the laughing stock of the league and their billionaire son is playing wrestling.
You guys are 0-3 because you drafted Trevor Lawrence, not because.
Well, they're 0-3 because they don't have a fucking defense, and Doug Peterson's only good for 1 year. That guy is great for a get back and then get him out.
Good. Yep.
Yep. That's what he's good for.
Plug.
It is a plug. I think Trevor Lawrence is actually decent. I think he has the skills to be just fine. He proved it against the Chargers in that playoff game. When you come back from throwing all those interceptions then win the fucking game, I think you're
he's not bad. He's not Mahomes.
No one is, right? Are you the all elite Wrapup? Obviously fucking not, but you can do your podcast. Right? You can do your podcast, but are you the all elite Wrapup? No. So, of course he's not Mahomes. No one's us,
Yeah. That makes sense. That's a good analogy. Now I get it.
Right. Yeah. So that's enough football talk. But with this, it could be that they are working together. Because another sleight of hand where the EVPs square up with the Blackpool Combat Club, and Darby's like, yeah, get these motherfuckers. And then, we all hate you, motherfucker.
No, we don't get a handshake. We get a finger poke of doom. They will mock that moment.
No.
They'll do a simultaneous finger poke of doom, and 7 of them will fall down at once.
Then
they'll all do a kip up, and they'll super kick a guy at once.
Yeah. That would be the closest I would ever go to going back to WWE if they did that fucking bullshit. Don't
Hey,
do
man.
that.
Mm-mm-mm.
Don't do that.
And then to save the day, rides in Eddie Kingston, the Outrunners, Nick Gage, and they clear them all out, and we all
And Hangman.
And Hangman.
I do love the idea that it is Hangman, but you would have to have a lot of story. John Moxley.
We got to work in there. Now, this may take a while. This may take months. This could be a 6-month storyline, 7-month storyline.
John Moxley had the long title reign, right? He beat Jericho, and I think he held it for a fucking year until he lost it to Kenny Omega. I don't know if you do that again. So that's why I don't think
it is hard to have somebody realistically beat Moxley when we've booked him so strong and so hard to beat. And that's fine. Again, WWE had that problem with Brock Lesnar, right? But you also don't want to diminish what that is, right? So you gotta get creative.
If he beats, I think the other thing why I said this was a mission critical, kind of going back to my first statement here, why I think it's a mission critical error is if he beats Bryan Danielson. It's not like if John Moxley beats MJF, well, I can, not to say that MJF is bad wrestler, but I could tell you people that could get crazy with John Moxley and beat him. But if his contemporary, right, every step of the way violent, Bryan Danielson,
you have him lean into that. You have Moxley be like, so now what? Who's left? The only guy who could have ever matched wits with me, who could have ever went toe-to-toe with me, is done. Never will wrestle again. So now you're all fucked. What are you going to do? And then you build somebody to slowly get to that, right? Over time. Whomever it is, we can name somebody, but it takes them 8 months or whatever to,
MJF is another good one because he's gone. He comes back.
I know. He can ride that line of doing bad things, but we still like him, which is, I think they seem to like this. Everybody has a tinge of they got some good and some bad in them in AEW. A lot of the major players do, and I love it.
That's how it should be. The best stories are when the bad guys make sense, and
not
the
everybody
good guys
saints
are doing
like us.
bad things. Yeah, right.
Some people have bad tendencies.
Not me.
Some people.
AEW.
I've heard. I read
AEW.
it. I read it.
AEW.
I have internet.
I have a track record of success. AEW. So if you want to look at that resume again, give me a call.
He sucks. Success. Yep.
Hey, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's success.
Yeah. God damn it. Adam Copeland. I don't know if you want to make him champion, but he wouldn't fall into it because he's not a day one guy. You know what I mean? But he could get crazy with John Moxley. So I don't know.
I know who it is.
Should be interesting.
I know who it is.
If you put the Maddox, I'm gonna fucking burn.
No, I don't have the Maddox anymore. But it's
The only chance you have no chance, but you had a chance is you can run lickety split because you can't run because you got the fat asses.
Scott Steiner returns.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Samoa Joe returns because Samoa Joe could return, and that would be a mother. He could match violence with John Moxley. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Good.
All right. Well, that was our Grand Slam. We got Wrestle Dream coming up. Next week is the 5-year anniversary. We've got Ospreay versus Ricochet. We've got my birthday. A lot of great things are happening next Wednesday night. It's going to be amazing.
A lot of important things. My birthday. Yes. We've got 5-year anniversary of Dynamite. My birthday. We're going to get Ricochet and Ospreay. My birthday. We're going to get a bunch of other great matches on Dynamite. My birthday. I will be life-threading. It's also Tom's birthday. Yeah,
let's clarify that. It's my birthday. It's not Tim's birthday.
Yeah,
he's
Tom's
saying that
birthday.
as me.
No,
my birthday.
Right.
Yeah. So if you want to wish me happy birthday.
Yeah, send Tom birthday money in the form of beer sponsorships, right?
Hey, there you go.
That's how we'll end it. One time he got you the Costco Reese's.
Oh yeah, he got me the 3-pound Reese's peanut butter cups. Yeah,
it was
I ate them on air too. Remember that? I was a fucking sugar rush driving home. I was like, I was Jack Perry driving the fucking bus. I was going everywhere. That was a fun night. Anyhow.
Well, I've had a fun night here as well, and so we will end it right there on that segue and remind you to go subscribe at allelitewrapup.com and join us right here next week for more All Elite Wrap Up.